All right. Chardonnay. Hello, hello, hello. Anybody out there? Dun, 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 dun. Good to go. Let's see. Oh, one moment. Got something. Be right back. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, Lynn. Hey, Chris. Lavia. Catherine Smith. Evening. How are you, my dear? Oh my God, Laura Brown. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. It's 7 o'clock on Tuesday, which means Virginia time. Warren and Richard. Good evening. I hope you guys had a wonderful Easter and week. Thank you for joining us. I know you guys love Chardonnay, so I'm excited for you guys to try this. Let's give it a few seconds, and then we will begin. Let's see who else has joined us so far. Kevin Norfleet, what do you get to go to the bathroom? So apologize. Maureen Scott, hello, love to your family. Let's see, Ethan Shiflett, hey buddy, assistant winemaker at Keswick Vineyards, all around good guy, couldn't without him. It's good to see you. Let's see what else here. Close that. Let's see, Virginia wine time. We do love Chardonnay. Yes, you do. I know that very well. Oh, I've done something wrong. Stay on this page. Live. I've done something wrong here. Crap people. All right. Janine, good evening. Rick and Janine say hello. Kath, Steve, and Aria say hello back to you. And Donna and Aaron and Michael Kimball and Aaron Mathis, good evening to you guys. Valerie, my lovely mother-in-law, hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us. So it's 7:01, and let's talk about a grape that is actually quite rising, and honestly, I don't know why, because it is freaking amazing. It makes some of the most revered wines in the world. If you think of Chardonnay, you think Chardonnay from California, from South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, and then absolutely the benchmark of Chardonnay has been Burgundy. But before we do that and jump on wine, as always, Kelly Goff, hello Bristow. Kelly, thank you so much for your order. I know we connected on Facebook, and it's so lovely to see you. So big shout out to you, and thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. And listen, Sylvia Miller, Donnie Knight, thank you for today's delivery. I'm sorry I didn't get to see you, sir, but as promised, hand delivered to you. Frank Morgan, Chardonnay is great. Agree. Frank Morgan from Drink Like, all around fantastic guy and great ambassador for Virginia Wine. Check out his website. Check out Drink What You Like and Virginia Wine. Two guys that really fly the flag of Virginia wineries. So first and foremost, I would like to say happy Easter to everybody. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful Easter. I know circumstances and times are difficult, but hope you're connected via phone, via Zoom, via face chat. You let the people know you love. So happy Easter to all. Al Schornberg, can you move the camera up? Yes, sir. Coming right up. How's that? Let's see. Camera issues. There we go. And Kurt Jensen, good evening. Hey, everyone. Mike, how are you? So, and then as we always do, we also want to kind of send out our best wishes from our family, from our Keswick family, from my personal family, to kind of let you know that we're thinking about you. We hope you're doing well. We're staying safe. And then more importantly, a very big thank you. I posted a video, but it's a little impersonal when you post a video, so I wanted to do it live and just say so much how we appreciate everyone's sort of generosity in buying wine during this time. We know, again, wine is a luxury, it's a necessity. You know, and I am just excited to buy Virginia wine, Virginia beer, Virginia food, Virginia whiskey, Virginia any. But for anyone who's purchased a Virginia product in the last week or two, again, just an absolute thank you to all of you. It's the reason we're in business. You know, it's not about wine and awards and accolades. People, it's people that it's going to get us through, and you know, from family to yours, we appreciate it. But tonight we're talking about Chardonnay, and I really think it's really think it's a grape that is polarizing, but it doesn't need to be. So let's get some in the glass, and I've got two glasses. This one over there is what they recommend to put Chardonnay in, and let's get some into there. It's a big glass. It's a beautifully shaped glass, but also this is another Riedel glass. It's a little thinner, and I thought it'd be really interesting to see the same wine poured at the same time, and if glassware actually does make a difference. As usual, say hi, send your comments. If I see them, I will respond to you. Anna Sisman, good evening. Virginia Wine Dogs, Terry, don't have the 19, so I'm going retro with 17 Reserve. It doesn't matter if you have the 9 Chardonnay, or even if you have Chardonnay or Keswick Chardonnay. Pour yourself a glass of wine. Let's spend the next 45 minutes chatting together, talking about wine. Hopefully, you know, we learn something new, have some fun, and missed you guys. I've looked forward to this for a week, so thank you again for joining us. And yeah, we're going to talk about one of 2 Chardonnays that we produce at Keswick. This is the 2019 Keswick Vineyards Chardonnay. It's 100% Chardonnay, and what I love about the Chardonnay, it's a naked Chardonnay. It's like you came into the world, it's naked, there's no oak, there's no dressing up, it is tank fermented, it's tank matured from a vintage that is phenomenal. Kevin says the camera is a little bouncy occasionally. I think I'm just tapping wood, so I apologize. And then Susan Glenn, good evening to you. So, and you're going retro with the 2012 Signature Series Chardonnay. I would love to know, Kevin, how that is tasting. But 2 glasses. So let's talk a bit about Chardonnay. Chardonnay is one of the most widely, I think it's the most widely planted white wine in the world. It's taken, it surpasses Ariane and Italy's Trebbiano as the most widely planted grape in the world. And it is the most widely planted grape in Virginia. Fact check that for me, but I'm pretty sure there's more Chardonnay planted in the state of Virginia than any other grape. Why is that if people come into a tasting room and say they do not like Chardonnay? Because there are a lot of people that do. What we talk about when it's Chardonnay is, Kurt, audio is a little choppy. Thank you for letting me know. Let me see what we can do about that. All right, Richard Smith, greetings from upstate New York, greetings from Virginia. So I hope you guys are doing well, especially in New York. Take care, be safe. Look forward to you visiting us soon. So Chardonnay is a major grape in various regions. It's a major grape in Champagne and other sparkling wines such as Cremant, Corto, Trento. It's planted worldwide. I mean, there's fantastic Chardonnay made in California and New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, South America. And then obviously, when we talk about Chardonnay, we talk about Burgundy. But Chardonnay is always thought of as a winemaker's grape because people think that it's quite new when it comes in. So when you smell Chardonnay and taste Chardonnay, it really is a reflection of how the grape was managed in the winery. So here's the food for thought. If you want to see how good a winemaker is or how good a winery is, try their Chardonnay. See how the winemaker treats Chardonnay. I think that's a great sort of clue as to the philosophy from a cellar point of view how wines are made. Look at the oak and the fruit profile and the acidity, the balance. I think you can judge a winery quite simply by tasting their Chardonnay. I don't know if you agree or don't. I'd love your comments, but I think Chardonnay is a great indicator of a wine's approach or a winery's approach and a winemaker's approach to wine. So when we look at this Chardonnay, we know all the bat that we're not going to use oak. So we're not looking for the texture and the roundness and the richness. You can build texture in other ways, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But what we're looking for is picking the grape purely on acidity. Now, acid we've spoken about in previous conversations, and we're talking about malic acid and tartaric acid. And malic acid is that green apple, that really crunchy, vibrant acidity. And I think when you ferment wines in tank, you really want to amplify the acidity in the wine. Now, the other thing really important is where the grape grows. And that means that Chardonnay grown in Virginia inherently shouldn't taste like Chardonnay grown anywhere else, because they are geographical, elevation, row orientation, soil types that impact that grape and make that grape unique. If you think about it, it's really the only thing that makes a winery unique, because winemakers wineries have winemakers and barrels and tanks and yeast and additives. The only thing that makes a winery unique is its grape. And our philosophy, very simply, is to reflect in a glass of wine how the grape was grown. My job, really simply, is to amplify everything that the guys in the vineyard and the girls in the vineyard have done. Pick the grape and amplify it. So let's see. Cindy Schoenberg says, I'm not usually a Chardonnay fan, but this one, along with the 2017, is. She has to say that. She owns Keswick, but I appreciate the comment. And good evening to you. Really, really appreciate it. Lindsay Medlin, I really like the acidity. I'm not a fan of buttery Chardonnay. I prefer Sauvignon Blanc or Albarino. That's perfect. What I take from that is you like, and that in a lot of times is more important. But buttery and oak are very big descriptors when it comes to Chardonnay, but they don't define the grape. Those are sort of stylistic things. But again, drink what you like, how you like, when you like. If you can do that. What are the challenges in the vineyard for Chardonnay? It's a question from Sylvia Miller. It's a great question. We face some of those challenges Friday night into Saturday. That firstly and foremost is the threat of frost. Because Chardonnay bud broke around the end of March, as that bud breaks and the shoots come up, susceptible to frost. And when you have a couple of leaves on those shoots, anything below 30 degrees is highly critical. So the first thing you have to do is to get through that period in Virginia that's all the way through mid-May. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of damage, but that's okay, because we actually, we don't prune heavily and aggressively. We leave a few more buds, knowing that we potentially could run this risk. So even though we took some damage on Friday night, Saturday morning, we're going to be fine. We're going to have a wonderful year, and we're going to have incredible Chardonnay d'État. Other than that, it's pretty decent grape to grow. It ripens early. It's pretty thick-skinned, so it doesn't get a lot of sort of botrytis. I mean, it will in sort of adverse conditions, but if you stay on top of it, it generally provides you incredible fruit. Lenny, hello, my friend. Frost bad? Yes, frost is bad, but in the world right now, frost is the least of our issues. But we're going to get through it, and we're going to make incredible kind of Chardonnay. Virginia wine has opened up an 18 to compare to the 19. Fantastic. Let me know how it is. I haven't tried the 18 for a while, but and for those that are watching, when we talk about Virginia wines, we always talk about vintage variation. Again, if the philosophical kind of approach is to reflect how grape was grown, the vintage variation is going to make wines that are different. So 18, 19 rain, 19 we had almost drought conditions. So essentially the grape should be different, and ergo the wines. Which one's better, we don't know. So Richard and Warren, let me know. Richard Smith, I agree. We live in the heart of the Finger Lakes wine country. Virginia Chardonnay has unique taste. Let me know what that is. We kind of have an idea of what Virginia terroir is. I'm interested to see what you think. I mean, there's incredible wines made up in the Finger Lakes, so let us know. So we got two glasses, and And does the shape of the glass really affect the aroma of the wine? The only one way to find out, and that's to give it a sniffy sniff. So we're going to swirl the wine. I mean, certainly it's. I mean, there's apple, and then there's stone fruit, and then there's this really lovely core of minerality, and I'll explain what I think of minerality in a bit. You know, and this is where wine is so intriguing. I know the wine should smell different, or potentially could smell different because of the glass, but they really do. This one smells a little bit more fruit forward, a little bit more of sort of that melon and that pear, and a little bit more sort of brighter sort of aromas that come through. And I don't know if that's sort of psychological, but what I prefer off the bat is actually the thinner glass, and maybe that's because of the style of Chardonnay. Donegal vintages are incredibly important for Virginia and make our wines very interesting. Absolutely, there's nothing more important than making wines that are unique. And again, you're going to make wines in vintages like 10, 9, 14, 16, and 19 that are incredible. And then you're going to have vintages that challenge you a little bit, and that's the 3s and the 11s and the 18s. But you know what? In those vintages, you learn so much. You learn how to make wines. You learn where your best fruit comes from. And you know, the other thing is, I have incredible colleagues around me. I can pick up the phone and say, what are we doing? What's right? What's not? So, but yeah, variation is important. We've got to embrace them. So great question. Rob Haller, I must say, I am in the corner with the whites. I didn't get Al's opinion on that, but you know, it's always good to be in Al's corner. We appreciate it. And Rob, getting to you, Will Lead, sniffy sniff is now my favorite technical wine tasting term. I believe it's a term in the dictionary, but a sniffy sniff is always the way to start, right? And why aroma is so important? It sort of sets you up. It gets you going for what's coming, especially if those aromas are sort of positive. Because when we talk about aromas in wine, we always think of positive. Sometimes, you know, you get aromas that are a little bit more sort of negative or forward. So I think we're really dealing with really amplified, vibrant, positive aromas, and what that does just sets up, makes you want to taste that wine. So let's do that. I mean, let's stick it out and see what happens. So yeah, Anna Sisman, going to get the other glass right now. It's a fantastic experiment. 2 different glasses. Get a glass and a plastic cup, and how that changes it. It's fun to learn. But what I like about this wine, what I love about this wine, because I do love this wine, is that it's bright and it has incredible acidity, and it just hits you straight up front. It sort of hits you over the head. It's like laser-like. It's almost razor sharp. It has beautiful, crunchy acidity, and then you have that sort of stone fruit minerality that comes through. And let me try to explain minerality, because minerality is a term that you hear a lot when it comes to Chardonnay, especially in French or Burgundian Chardonnay. So minerality is tricky, but in my opinion, it refers to a group of non-fruit, non-herb, non-spice notes, you know, and it can be with an aroma or a flavor profile as well. So think of when you walk on the beach and that sort of wind from the ocean kind of comes across and you get that salty kind of character. Or if you're walking on a peridot beach, or you have sort of oysters and seashells that are sitting in there, that sort of salinity. Say if you go into a river and you get wet rocks and you pick it up in your hands and you smell them, or chalk on a chalkboard. That is what I think of minerality. Saline, flint, there are other descriptors when it comes to minerality. Virginia Wine Time, did you oak the 18? We did, but we tank ferment and then barrel mature. That's very important as opposed to kind of barrel fermentation and maturation. So fermentations are exothermic. They generate heat in the form of ADP, OH, adenosine triphosphate rather. So it gives off heat, and controlling the fermentation temperature is really important in how you build up flavors and aromas as well. So we want to control that. We don't want it to get away from us really. We do ferment at slightly warmer temperatures, but you know, so we ferment in tank where we can control. we get the wines through, and then we transfer the wine after fermentation into barrels. The other important determination is we don't use new oak. We don't want you to get sort of that heavy vanillin, buttery, oaky kind of character in the wine, because this is grown on sort of shale schist. It has this really lovely core of stone fruit character. It has citrus fruits, and again, it has this really lovely, what we call minerality. It has that slaty, because we have sort of rocks and shale and quartz that grow in them. So the oak really is there to sort of hold the wine up, because again, we don't want the oak to be the primary or the secondary. There has to be sort of a tertiary. It has to be a textural. It can get, but we don't want to sacrifice the vibrancy of the wine. So same core philosophy, even if it's tank fermented or barrel fermented, we really are trying to build the wine on a. Kurt Jensen, really long finish too. That's a great point. I'd like to talk a little bit about how we build that texture in a tank fermented Chardonnay, and that's through something called Sir Lee aging. So we add yeast to the wine, and yeast is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Its job is to take the sugar and the glucose and turn it into alcohol. Grading Mendenhall, greetings from the Mendenhalls from Texas, from the Keswick family, and everybody on Facebook from Virginia. I hope you are doing well. Lots of love to you and your family. Mason, the person who's tasting also has a role in how the wine reacts. Not at all. Not at all. My job is really, we are not makers. You know, it's a funny term. We are wine servitors, right? We grow the grapes, and we have like 20 winemakers at Keswick, because everyone who touches, prunes, leaf pools, waters, sprays that vineyard, impact grape. And if you harvest that grape at its optimum physiological ripeness and level of acidity, my job really is just take that fruit and nurse it through the process and stick it in a glass. So yeah, I might be a winemaker, but I'm one of 20. You know, anyone who touches that grape and adds in that grape really deserves credit for this wine as well. But certainly aging, you know, a lot of people say tank wines are bright, acidic, and short. That may be the case. So how do you build up texture and weight and length in wine as well? You know, Frank says you're making an oak Chardonnay. What are the consumer presence trends in the terms of Chardonnay? And that's a phenomenal question. We got a lot of people who come into the tasting room, say, I don't like Chardonnay, we can skip it. And I love that, because what they really mean is, I don't like a certain style of Chardonnay, but I haven't tried yours yet, right? So again, when you feel like you've shoved a 2x4 and a bunch of butter in your mouth, that really doesn't, that's not a positive description of anything, let alone Chardonnay, which is one of the most noble varietals in the world. What we get a lot of the time is people try the wine and they go, holy hell, that Chardonnay, I mean, it's fruit, it's bright, and there's not a lot of oak. So yeah, there's preconceived notions about what Chardonnay is. People are willing to try something new, and a lot of the time we sort of, you know, we get them and we at least say, look, Chardonnay can be different. Now, if you like buttery and oaky, I am not here to tell you that's not what you should drink. You should drink what you like, because wine at the end of the day should give you pleasure. If you like oak and that sort of buttery kind of character, you should drink that all day long. It's just not a style that Keswick does, and that's partly about climate. You know, we don't get a really hot climate. We're sort of subtropical humid. We pick on acidity. We're looking for vibrancy. We're looking for tension in the wine. And we have a lot of sort of stone fruit and citrus characters as opposed to really sort of bright fruit character. So I don't think our fruit lends itself to that style anyway. Let's see what else here. We've got some really great comments. Why oak in 18 and none in 19? That's a great question. We made 2 Chardonnays. This is one of 2. The first Chardonnay is 100% stainless steel, tank fermented, tank matured, non-ML. And then we have our reserve wine. And everyone says, what is the difference between the house and a reserve wine? The honest answer is about $10, just to let you know. But the reserve Chardonnay is tank fermented, and then it goes to barrel. It matures a further 6 months in the barrel. It's also a non-ML. So we actually did 2 different wines this year. It'd be interesting to see which one people like the most. Let's see who else is here. Christy Gibson. Hello, Steve. Hi, Christy. It's so lovely to see you. Anna's um, and Anna's a great person because she works in the tasting room, and she says the response is, I'd say that the response is generally for anything overly oak. Most people who come in and say they don't like Chardonnay have an idea of a very buttery and oaky wine. And I would agree. I think people come in who don't like Chardonnay like a specific style. And all we're here to do is to say, try something different. Try Chardonnay. If you don't like oak, try tank fermented Chardonnays. Try Chardonnay from Virginia. Try Chardonnay from upstate New York. Try Chablis from France. I mean, oh my lord, Chablis is incredible. Chardonnay from New Zealand and Hawke's Bay. Try Chardonnay from Margaret River, West Australia. Try South African Chardonnay with that coastal time climate. None oaky, buttery style. So I think people are really receptive to Chardonnay as a wine. And I think it's our job as winemakers to try and make people fall in love with this grape again. Winemakers can screw grapes up sometimes, but if you grow them well, Chardonnay makes some of the most ethereal wines in the world. I promise you, they're food-friendly wines. They're layered, they're textured. They're not all buttery. They're not all overly. They have character, and in my opinion, Chardonnay probably shows more terroir in a glass than any other grape. Let me know if I'm full of nonsense. I'd love to know. Question: do you think there's other white wine grape that shows terroir more than Chardonnay? Grady Mendenhall, my daughter said the acidity in the 90s is pairing perfectly with my Thai salad for dinner. Great wine. Well, we appreciate that comment. Acidity is such a great thing to pair with. It pairs with cheeses and some dishes, Thai dishes, sweetness in food, clean flavors like ceviche and what else? Like oysters on the half shell. I mean, just fresh seafood, simple salads, arugula. Oh my God, arugula and Chardonnay tank fermented is just phenomenal. So yeah, I appreciate that comment. Shannon Holland said about people's perception of Chard is truth. They're always surprised. She works in our tasting room again, so it has a much better opinion of what people think of Chardonnay than I do. But I always want people to try something different. It's not okay to try something and say, I don't like that. Just try something different. Think outside the box. Have your staple wine that you drink, but try something different. Morgan, what is your personal Chardonnay preference? Heavy oak, neutral, light oak, or no oak or steel? That's a great question. Let's see what people answer. Personally, I can do oaked as long as it's balanced. Love Chardonnay that has oak, but it has that sort of acidity, it has that fruit character, and the oak really, juxtaposes it with the other components in the wine. What I don't like about oak wines is if you start a new year and you go, that's oaked. I mean, that's, Vaynerchuk always used to say, "Wow, oak monster." We don't want that in the wine. Because Chardonnay doesn't come off the vine smelling and tasting like oak. Again, if that's what makes wines generic, it also makes wines sell. I mean, let's be honest. People can appreciate oak wines, but I like wines that really reflect where they're grown. And if oak is used, it's done sort of minimalistically, and that's really important. But let's see what other people see. Terry High just read a really good article on MLF and misconception. Trend is that California buttery is going out to the point that is unwanted now. So, really important. When you talk about Chardonnay, we're talking about obviously fermentation. Then you're talking about where does butter come from, and butter comes from a compound called diacetyl. Now, when we talk about fermentation, we're obviously just talking about sugar getting into alcohol, and then it goes from grape juice to wine. But the dominant acid in wine is malic acid. We can add what we call a lactic acid bacteria, Enococcus and many strains of these are available in the market today. And what they do is they produce lactic acid. So it goes through a secondary, where the malic acid, which is the natural acid, turns into lactic acid. And it's a major it's an end product of sugar catabolism. All right. So when you have that, you get sort of that nuttiness, you get that sort of butteriness, you get that sort of toastiness. And we're talking about sort of diacetyl, which is also butane 2,3-di, it's a really sort of interesting. Now, diacetyl can be sort of by fermentation, but it's mainly done through secondary fermentation when you add lactic bacteria to the wine. But it's a great question. So there is a way to build up texture and weight and soften that wine up a little bit. So secondary fermentation is a stylistic tool. Is what we do? Personally, we don't, because I think in Virginia we lack acidity. We get really hot, humid summers, and one thing we don't get in our grapes when we pick them, we get very low acids. Al says, the audio keeps cutting in and out. Is it your internet or the mic? I am so sorry to hear that. We're trying to work on it as we go. I'm not 100% sure. I do apologize. How do you decide whether to or not to oak a Chardonnay? And that's a question from Shannon. It's a phenomenal question. Again, we were fortunate in 2019 we were able to make two. So when you make two Chardonnays, they have to be stylistically different. So obviously tank fermented, tank matured, and bottled, that's fine. We use oak because we think the wine could use a little bit more texture, a little bit more roundness. But again, we use it in a minimalistic kind of way. So we're not using any whatsoever. We use barrels that are 3 or 4 years seasoned. Part of it is also experimental. What is the best way to make Chardonnay? Oak is an incredible tool in wine. I think where oak gets a little bit of a bad rap, if it's badly done, or if it sort of overwhelms everything that the wine is. And what it does, it doesn't do justice to how you grew the grape or the vintage variation. So part of it is experimental, part of it is sales. That's the business we're in. But at the end of the day, we're trying to make a wine that's balanced and vibrant and really reflects how the grape was grown. Let's see else. At least light or stainless steel for me, great. And Al says the top of my head is cut off. I apologize. I'm not sure why things are bouncing around. So we're just going to roll with it. The good thing about wine is the little details. So we're not too worried about that. Let's see. Deborah Lassard, last week I noticed a significant taste difference over time with the rosé. I do not notice this with the Chardonnay. That's interesting. What I would do is put the cork in it, let the Chardonnay sit for a day and see how it changes. No ML on which is a Chris Schomburg question. Hi, Chris. Hope you and Tiger Lily are doing well. We don't do ML on any of our whites. Any white that we produce, rosé, V squared, LVA, Viognier, the Trevelyan whites, or either of the Chards, all of them are ML blocked. We actually don't allow our wines to go through ML. And it's conservation of the natural acidity in the grape. It's a stylistic choice. I think what acidity does, it makes wines food friendly. It balances out the fruit flavors in the wine. It also allows wines to age. I mean, the other thing we don't talk about is how long can you leave Chardonnay in a bottle? We've had some 2008s and 7s and 6s that are just beautiful, beautiful. Chardonnay can develop licorice. There's a flavor descriptor you don't hear about Chardonnay too often, but time in a bottle can really develop some licorice, spicy and nuttiness and doughy and bread kind of characteristics that are really, really interesting. But at the end of the day, this wine is summertime. It's vibrant. It's food friendly. And again, we don't make food friendly wines. We want to make wines that you can drink, and you have the option to pair it with food if you want to. But every wine should be able to be drunk on its own. Let's see. Warren says, "Yay for Chardonnay." I know you're a big fan of Chardonnay. Keep preaching, brother. I think Chardonnay is coming back. Winemakers are treated more respectfully, and I think Chardonnay is an incredible, incredible wine. And can I get an amen? Because I love the fact that you love Chardonnay and you always have. I like the balance of fruit with compliments of oak, not allowing the oak to be the star. We're possibly talking about a different vintage, but the key for me is balance. It's a word we talk about a lot. And what we want to do is make a wine that is balanced, meaning that the alcohol, the fruit, the acid, and the tannin is all harmonious. We're talking about acidity and oak, but it doesn't make a difference if the tannin is too much or if the fruit is too much. The wine just seems out of balance. So really appreciate that and love the word balance. If you think our wines are balanced, that is a compliment. Really, really appreciate it. The 19 is bright and fruit and is a perfect sipper on its own. Mic drop. Perfect. That's all we want. You know, sipper, drink it, enjoy it, open up another bottle. Everything we're going through. But had it with enchiladas, requested by an 8-year-old, which was great. Wine and enchiladas. Anna, share that recipe. If it's as good as you say, I'd love to get your recipe. Donna Goff, we prefer either unbaked or kissed by oak. I agree. But again, if you try some California from Carneros, California Chardonnays, or if you try Meursault or Chassagne Montrachet Burgundy, where they use, it's done in such an incredible way that oak really is an afterthought. You don't even think about it. There's so much other stuff going on there. Lanny White, still, I want the flavor of the fruit, not a tree. Again, you know, let's not jump on oak here. It's not oak's fault. Oak done in a manner that's restrained, subtle, is phenomenal. We're giving oak a bit of a rough ride if it dominates the wine. But stainless steel, you know, I love what stainless steel fermentation does to a wine. And the other thing is, it gives you an opportunity to blend some oak fermented wine into stainless steel, or stainless steel into a barrel fermented wine. So it gives you some sort of room for experimentation there as well. Let's see what else is going on here. Stephanie Racer, I actually used about a quarter cup in my sauerkraut and kielbasa last night. I always say, you know, always cook with wine, and if it happens to make it into the food, that's great too. But fantastic, love it. Kathy Clifton, love Keswick Chardonnay. Kathy, we love you too. We hope to see you really, really soon. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Let's see. Sylvia Miller, thought unbaked was your wine descriptor. Tanya Laval, all is good. Great. Justin Falco from Montefalco Vineyards. It's so lovely to see on board. Another Virginia winery you have to check out. Justin is a super guy, makes incredible wine. Check him out. He's up 29. Another Virginia winery that's worth visiting. Chardonnay is one of the best grapes the winemaker. Blank canvas. Absolutely agree. That doesn't mean the winemaker has to go crazy. But it does. It gives you so many things you can do with it. You know, it is, let's call it a chameleon of a grape, because it'll take on the personality of what you try and do in the winery. So, but best regards to you, Justin. I hope you're doing well. Lots of love to you guys and hanging there. Linda Sims, hi, Justin. Dennis Sugameli, I was wondering where you were. Greeting from the Sugameli and the Mathises. Love to you guys. Hope you're doing well. Great mouthfeel, really important with wine. And again, tank wines have really lovely acidity, and they light, and they're cliff wine. You know, you have that sort of front to mid palate, and then it's gone. You know, your last sort of thought of a wine is how it finishes. You know, and when you finish a wine, you want to have more. The wine has to make you want to have more. So yeah, mouthfeel and length is really important, but without sort of sacrificing the vibrancy and the tension and the acidity of the wine. So really, really, really appreciate that. Love Virginia wine and Finger Lakes. You've been a great supporter of our industry and many others. So we really appreciate Dennis and Marsha, and love to you guys. COVID is affecting our wine collection. It shouldn't. You can get on any Virginia winery and curbside and delivery. I know we're talking about Keswick, but so much more wineries out there that you can buy one. But get onto our website. You know, we'll send the wine. Anything over 3 bottles, we'll send it to you for free. And if you want to come see us from about 8-9 feet distance, pull up in there, give us a shot. We'll bring the wine out to you. So Lanny, don't let your wine collection deplete. Keep drinking wine, and we're here to help you. You know, we are servants to the people, and if you need wine, we will graciously help you with that. But not ours. Drink Virginia wine. Well, that's the other thing. You know, our message is not about us. It's about all the farmers and the restaurateurs and the wineries and the breweries and the cideries. Support local. Do what you can. My God, it's tough times, and everyone can use our help. Tanya, we are starting to drink our wedding wine. You know what you should do? Say your vows all over again, sip the wine, and take you back to the wedding. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope it's a wonderful wine. Let's see. If oak is not a crime. Absolutely not. You know, we're giving oak a bit of a bad rap here, but it's not the oak's fault. You know, winemakers are learning how to use oak and how to use oak deftly and restraint. Oak does a lot of wonderful things to a wine. when we talk about oak and wine in a sort of a negativity way, it's not really the fault of the wine. It is really the ends of the winemaker. Sometimes we screw things up. We don't mean to, but we learn, and when we make mistakes, we get better. And as we get better, the wines get better. But again, oak is not the sort of nemesis here. It's not the bad thing. Oak is wonderful and such an integral part in making wine. Let's see, Kathy Clifton, you made a pickup and I missed seeing you. Oh my God, I'm so sorry to have missed you. I know this weekend we were fighting the frost, so I was there at 3 in the morning. I didn't see you at 3 in the morning, but I'm sorry to have missed you, and thank you for picking up wine, and love to you and your family as well. Linda Irvin, if a vintage is labeled as a good vintage, does that apply to both red and white wines? That is an incredible question. I haven't heard that for a while, but yes. If we're talking about a vintage like 2019, we're talking about the vintage in totality, and 19 and 17 and 14, 13, 12, 10, incredible vintages for both whites and red. And what does an incredible mean? Really, for us, it allows us to, again, be a little bit sort of minimalistic. I'm going to switch glasses because I'd be interested to do while I answer this question. It allows us as winemakers to be non-interventionists. The fruit is ripe, the fruit's got color, the fruit's got all these characteristics that make it unique. And in those vintages, oh my word, you're just so happy and passionate to make wines because, as the wine ferments and as it matures, you're so excited about sticking it in a bottle. But yes, when we talk about incredible vintages, we're talking in totality. There are vintages where it starts off well and it rains. We wouldn't really regard that as a pretty good vintage. So yeah, when we talk about vintages that are incredible, in my opinion, we're looking sort of front to back. UPS doesn't even look for his signature anymore, such as the times. But yeah, they're doing an incredible job. My God, the service men, women, frontlines, teachers, nurses, doctors. A lot of respect for those folks right now. So UPS, give them don't give them a hug. Oh my God, strict wave and say hi and tell them how much you appreciate it. They're doing great. Catherine Smith, we lean towards reds, but remember we like whites when we have them from Keswick and a couple of the Virginia vineyards. Absolutely fine. Again, drink what you like. If you like red wine, it's great. Every now and then, try a white. There's incredible whites, incredible reds, incredible dessert wines. So, expand your horizons, try different things. But at the end of the day, when you're drinking wine, the number one goal is to enjoy. The number two goal is to share it with someone you enjoy being around. Thanks, Stephen, for dropping it off at our house. And it was our absolute pleasure. It was lovely seeing you. Thank you for doing that. Scott Elf, Card Vineyards. Great job. You're a prince. I think I'm more a frog. I need to be kissed by the princess, my wife. But Scott, hope you're doing well. Ducard Vineyards, another. If you're going up to Sperryville at 522, halfway down the line, go visit Scott and Julian. Go try some of the amazing wines that they're making out there. Ducard Vineyards. Check them out. Look them online. Scott Elliff, is such a pleasure to see you and know you and be a colleague of yours. Really, really, really appreciate it. Yes, Chris brought up a good point. We're doing something really important because I know it's all about wineries and stuff, but it's also about restaurants. And we are actually starting some partnerships with some local restaurants. And this week we're doing a trial run with Pharmacy. If you've never tried Pharmacy's food, oh my God, it's amazing. Organically grown organically grown produce. Excuse me. 2 glasses of Chardonnay will make you do that. But what we do, if you get on our website and you order some of their food and a bottle of wine, we bring it to you. I think we're delivering in sort of the Glenmore, the Charlotte, Pantops, Fontaine region. And a proof of concept, it's the first time we do it. The intention is to try and leverage and collaborate with a bunch of other restaurants, because restaurants are support too. So food and wine goes together. And if they grow together, they go together. So Virginia food, Virginia wine. Check us out. But this week, you place the order tonight, though. We're delivering on Thursday. But Keswick wine with Pharmacy food, match made in heaven. The vegan burrito, oh my God, it's just phenomenal. Rick Fillmore, the Chardonnay is whispering to me, come hither for another glass of wine. Poetic, indeed. And that's what we want. We want you to have a second glass. There's nothing worse than not being able to have a second glass or not wanting a second glass. So we appreciate it. Glenn, how were the vines after the cold night last week? Truthfully, we had some damage. We were out there at 3 in the morning. We started running the machines just after 4. We ran them till about 7:30, 7:45. We got a little bit of damage in the Chardonnay, a little bit in the Viognier and the Cabernet Franc. But what we do as vineyard managers, we didn't prune incessantly. We left a few more buds than is necessary. Trying to give ourselves the option to take a bit of damage if we do. So we're going to be just fine. Those vines are hardy. They're going to bounce back and they produce incredible wine. I'm not giving up on 2020 yet. A rubbish start to the year, but we're going to finish strong. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. So pray that we get through Wednesday night into Thursday into Friday. We've got another cold front coming in, but they're okay. We're doing all right. Sarah Burdick. That's right. My sister and brother-in-law sent me some Keswick Vineyards to me in New York. Some of my very favorite wines come from Virginia. Love it. I think Virginia makes some world-class wines, and we really appreciate the support. Hope you guys are staying safe in New York, and we look forward to the day that you can come and visit us again. We would love to have you and your family. Let's see, Virginia Wine Dogs. You shaved? I did. Got tired of the stubble. My daughter can't give me a complaint, so I wanted to give us snuggles and kisses, so I shaved today, just for you guys and for her. How many years do you keep an oak barrel after you've used it? It's a great question. We have some oak barrels from 2005 vintage that we're still using. We don't use a lot of new oak. We don't purchase a lot of new barrels, and that's by choice. So as long as the barrel is clean, there's nothing there's no VA or ethyl acetate, which is the nail polish. There's no Brettanomyces or anything that can harm the wine. We use some barrels that are really, really old. And again, it's a philosophical and a stylistic choice. We want to reflect in this glass, or whatever glass that you put in the grape was grown. We want you to smell the soil and the terroir and the vintage. And oak, while we use a little bit of oak, we do it deftly. But great question, but we have some barrels that are 12, 15 years old that are still in use. Let's see, Rick Fillmore, Lanny White, winemaking is a team effort here. It certainly is. And the team is not just vineyard and winery. The team is marketing and accounting and sales and ownership. A captain doesn't run a ship. It takes very, very good, passionate people. A lot of behind the scenes kind of work. A lot of people think that, I do it because I'm in front of the camera. Honestly, I can't do it without Ethan and Lewis and Karen and Al and Brian and Cindy and Kath and all the tasting room staff and Elaine up in the office and our Hispanic crew, which are phenomenal, all of which take pride and passion in producing these wines and all deserve a big, big sort of congrats. So I have a phenomenal team. I'm very lucky to have them. And hopefully the wine and the decisions we make in the cellar really reflect all the work that goes into it, because we've been working on the vintage since December when we pruned it. So my job is to do their work justice, because there's a lot of work that goes into it. Do you use all your Chardonnay now? From Mary. We do. We don't have a Chardonnay planted. We actually do purchase from some wineries occasionally. The reason we didn't plant more is because our vineyard is really susceptible to frost. At our highest point on the property, we're only at 570 feet elevation. So while we have incredible well-drained soil and unique soils, because early budding varietals are very susceptible to frost, for about 6 to 8 weeks, we decided not to plant more Chardonnay. So we actually use everything that we grow. Anna Sisman, pharmacy is awesome. Yes, they are incredible, incredible, incredible. Lovely people, incredible food, local food, organically grown. Check them out. So absolutely. Where is pharmacy? I don't know that. It's a local food truck, but they're located in Keswick, Kathy. Check them out. But if you want to try some of their food, you can get on our website tonight. Excuse me. You can order some of their food and a bottle of wine, and we'll bring it for you. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Let's see. It is a food truck. They come out to our tasting room all over the show. So let's see. Again, if I don't read your comments, or I'm not saying hello, I do apologize. I will get on tomorrow morning and I will respond to every question or comment out there. Again, Mr. Al Schoenberg, you're too modest. You're rated in the top 100 in the world. No, I appreciate you saying that, boss. I really do. But again, you know as well as I do, we have an incredible team. So team effort. We do well together. We celebrate together. Can't do it without everyone, you included. No, it's been tough on you as an owner, and we appreciate everything you're doing. I know you've got a lot of sleepless nights trying to keep us employed. So we appreciate your work as well. You deserve a lot of that as well. And are you doing all? I think I need to get a semi truck first. So we'll get it up to you soon. The logistics are off me sometime, but soon. Again, Kevin and Drew, a lot of guys out there. Hope you're doing well in Philadelphia. Look forward to seeing you guys sometime soon. So Nancy Harvey, Nancy and Bill Harvey down in the Carolinas. Battery diminishing. Good night all. Even Chardonnay. Love you guys. Stay safe. You're well. It's good to see. Kathy, I'll order from them tomorrow. Thank you. We appreciate it, and so do they. Oh my God, it's 7:50. Time flies when you're having fun with friends and drinking decent wine. So again, firstly, let me reiterate, what are we drinking next Tuesday, Michael? We are drinking an incredible Viognier 2019, and I've got some requests to talk about 18, 19, and 17. We're going to be focusing on the 2019 Viognier, but we'll be talking about all things Viognier because we sometimes do 4 wines with it. And then the following week, we're drinking Cabernet Franc, our signature series. And then on Friday, actually an interactive tasting with Castle Hill Cider at 2 p.m. Check us out on Facebook. Check their Facebook out. Talking about Viognier again. 3 vintages, and we're just sharing some wine with our friends and colleagues over the road from us as well. We loved it. Virginia Wine Time. Thank you so much. Bless you guys. So let me kind of get off here a little bit. It's 50 minutes and say number one, Virginia wine, the products, Virginia food. Support local during this time. The other thing is please stay safe. Do what you got to do. I always say we're going to get through this. We really will. And just a heartfelt thank you from our family, from our wine family, for everything that you do, for all your support, for all the wine purchases and the support online and the sharing and the tweets. My God, we are so sort of touched by all your support and everything that you do. The other thing, one last thing, tomorrow is the Monticello Wine Cup Award. It's a virtual tasting. Frank Morgan was the organizer of that, but at 7 p.m. you're going to find out the top 3 reds, the top 3 whites. In the Monticello AVA made some incredible wines this year, and we all know Monticello makes some pretty damn incredible wine. So 7 p.m. check out, I believe it's the Monticello Wine Trail website. 7 p.m. You're going to hear from George Hodson, who's the president, chairman of the Monticello Wine Trail Board. You're going to hear from Mathieu Finot, the dapper French winemaker, King Family. I'm sure Frank Morgan will be on there. And we're going to have our interactive chat with some of the winemakers who made some of the best wines this year. So I look forward to kind of seeing who won and who did well. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow, join us. We'd love to have you and some more wine. Beth Smith, thank you. Thank you. We really appreciate you guys. Justin Falco, thanks for this. Again, thank you. We're in this together, brother. We're going to be supporting you, and I had your incredible Merlot the other night. Loved it, and we're going to get some more. And I thank you from Florida. I hope there's another. Next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m., we're going to chat in here if you want to join us. God bless you and the family, Anna, as well. We look forward to the day we can all get together and share a glass of wine. So from us, our family, me, Kath, Aria, from our Keswick family, Al and Cindy, and the rest of the gang, cheers, good drinking, safe, be well. And again, I'm wearing my goofy shirt. It's remember to not take life too seriously. Smile more, tell people you love them, pick up the phone, call people you haven't spoken to in a while. I know they'll appreciate it. Until next week, God bless, have a wonderful week, and keep drinking Virginia wine and drink Chardonnay. It makes some of the world's best wines. So God bless, thank you to all of you. Good night, great week. We'll see you next week, Tuesday. Bye-bye.